Loan officers, what if you could turn every real estate agent in your market into a raving partner who sends you referrals on autopilot? In this video, I'm going to be sharing proven strategies top producing LOs use to grow their loan volume fast. My name is Luke Darling, and I've helped systems and strategies to grow their business, make more, and work less. Let's jump into the meat and potatoes here. I'm going to break down how to double your business by doubling your partners. Now, when we get into growing our business with referral partners, one of the things that I pound over and over and over again, simple scales. If you want to double your business, double the number of active referral partners. It's basic math. It's not rocket science, but when we break it down into simple, digestible components, we can begin to take action towards our goals. Now, one thing that we want to touch on here is we want to focus on what we can control. If we can focus on what we can control, we can get to where we want to go. And this is all boils down to having simple, repeatable processes and being able to provide value to our referral partners. I can't stress this enough. Good rates and good service is not an offer. It's not value. This should be expected. So what are you bringing to the table above and beyond good rates and good service? You can also throw in communication to that, because obviously, if you can't communicate to your leads, your partners, and everybody involved in the transaction, you're not going to be able to close deals. Now, there's a shocking statistic that you've probably seen from Inman here. 71% of real estate agents didn't close a single deal last year. That means the number of agents in your market isn't, out of 10 of them, there's realistically 3 of them that we should be narrowing our focus in on. And there's a couple things that we want to focus on when we are digging into growing our referral partner base. As much as we're talking about growing a relationship, we also need to think about them, real estate agents and our referral partners, as leads. If we are not connected with them, we need to get more of them. Once we get more of them, we need to nurture them. And just like you would with a buyer, you need to also focus on real estate agents as leads as well. Obviously, this is going to grow into a relationship, so it's not so transactional. Not that you should have your leads as transactional, but need to have systems and processes in place to be able to grow this effectively. Now, when we're getting into leads, you've probably heard and are familiar with Alex Ramosi. He does a great job of breaking this down very simply. There's 4 core ways of getting leads: cold, warm, content, and ads. So when we are touching on these, there's, we're going a cold. Cold is somebody you don't know. You have no prior relationship or anything with. Warm, these are people that you know, you may already be connected with to some degree. These are both one-to-one outreach. So we're talking about DMs, emails, phone, reaching out to people on a one-to-one basis. Now, then we get into content. These are your social. This is where we get into one-to-many. And then we get into ads. Typically, ads are more on, when we think about ads, they're paid. I'm actually going to be able to touch on a couple strategies here where we're leveraging a paid type strategy or an ad strategy that doesn't cost anything. This also bleeds into content as well. Now, where do we start when we are talking about agents as leads? Well, we need to have people to contact. We don't know. We have to have some direction to point in the right, get in the right, going in the right direction there. So that's all going to start out with agent information. So we need data. We need somewhere to point our energy towards. Now, there's plenty of options out there. I'll touch on a couple things right now. So if we want to talk about paid services, you can get detailed production data from companies like Reader. You can join them for free. They have a free trial. You can get 50 data points. Now, this is nice because you can actually get detailed information, have a better understanding of what their production is, how many people, their existing relationships, what the deals that they've done in the past with other lenders. If there's somebody who's working with who never strays, they only working with like one person, versus, hey, this person works with like a half a dozen different people. So there's paid services like Reader that you can get a lot of detailed information from. Now, there's other service providers where you can just scrape agent data, and there's tools like D7 Lead Finder where you can actually get names, numbers, emails, social profiles. This is cool because you can leverage these to reach out on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, outside of your traditional text message, emails, and phone calls. So you have multiple touch points to be able to connect and grow with. There's benefits and drawbacks to every different approach. And then if you want to go with a more cost-effective approach and free, you can, there's literally agent information all over the place: Zillow, Realtor.com, Har.com. But some things to kind of think about when we are digging. Obviously, going back to the Inman statistic of 71% of agents haven't done a single transaction in the last 12 months. Well, we want to be making sure that we are contacting the right people who you can actually do some business with, and we're focusing our time, effort, and attention on the right target. And then this is more so on a qualified basis. So qualified, you can consider anybody who sent you a lead in the last 12 months. Hey, this is like a qualified partner. Like, they're at least doing something to send me some business. So those are, two data points to kind of consider when you're thinking about growing your business and growing your referral partners, either cold or warm. Now, there's a lot of people that, to pound the drum of focusing on people who do at least 8 buy-side transactions a year. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but, in order to, get that information, you need to have, some detailed production information, like a paid service like that. One easy way that you can really, for free is actually just, finding out who are the listing agents. Now, typically this isn't necessarily a 100% foolproof way of knowing, that they're doing a lot of business, but there's sayings that you've probably heard: list to last or list to exist. They don't come up with these slogans for nothing out of nowhere. So an easy way that you can target producing agents without having to pay for any services is actually just going directly on like Zillow and finding who are the listing agents. Now, before we get into dive any deeper into that, there's some things that we want to make sure that we are essentially coming to the table with outside of good rates and good service. And it's like, what do we have to offer outside of good rates and good service to make people want to work with us? Why are they going to be sending us business versus somebody else? Now, there's a number of things that we can do here. One thing that I've seen that just absolutely crushes it is actually calling the database of real estate agents to get them reviews on their past clients. And it's like, hey, I'm happy to reach out to your past clients to get reviews from them. Obviously, in this same conversation, when you're reaching out to the past clients, you're introducing yourself as a loan officer and opening the conversation there to begin to be able to form a relationship with that homeowner. Now, there is a bit of a gap to go from like, hi, I'm Joe, you don't know me, can you give me your most valuable resource that you have, your past clients, and then I'm going to call all of them. So what we've typically tend to focus on first is a foot in the door providing value, and that's contacting listing agents to promote their existing listings. The cool thing here is with this approach, with applying some AI agents that we've helped develop is promoting. When we're promoting listings for these listing agents, number one, it doesn't cost them any money, it doesn't take any of their time, and you're not taking anything from them when it comes to their most valuable resource and asset is their past clients. Now, this one is an absolute beast of a strategy, but you do need to have some sort of relationship or trust built in, and this is a great way to begin that process of building that trust and creating that relationship there. Now, what do we do? Okay, now we have all this information. We have our leads. We have our strategy. What can we do to systematize this process to be able to get in front of them, have conversations with them consistently that doesn't take a ton of time? Now, real estate agents are going to be are very responsive on direct message and text message. But one thing that is, you've probably heard time and time again, touted for a long time is, you make your Monday calls. Now, those are fine and dandy, but we need to have something to talk to them about outside of, whatever it may be, the weather. So when we're calling them, and there's really, really powerful things to implement. One thing that we leverage in Agent Flywheels, the power dialer, ringless voicemails, email, SMS, DM, they're all very, very powerful, a very powerful approach that can be essentially almost completely automated to the point of being able to have to reduce the time that you spend on a daily basis focusing on this down to 10, 15 minutes max on that side. So typically connecting and reaching out to 5 agents, making contact with 5 agents in less than 10 minutes a day. So power dialers, huge one that we're still you're still connecting and having a conversation. You need to have conversations with these people. Text messages is great to open the door, but getting on the phone, but being able to consistently have conversations and check in and do this is something that's not easy for a lot of people. But when you have it in place where you don't have to think about it, you just plug in and turn it on. So power dialer is great. Now, again, who do we like to go after? Typically, an easy way to dial in completely free, pop on Zillow, pull up the listings, draw a circle of where you want to kind of focus your time, effort, and energy on. You can sort by price range. Typically, when we're promoting properties for agents, we typically like to stick within like as close to the median home price as possible, because you're just going to have a much larger audience that can be a qualified buyer there. So leveraging these listings to attract buyers is the strategy there. Now, we have it set up where we're able to pull in a lot of this. We have AI agents that pull in a lot of this data and a lot of this information for our users, but you can jump on, you can circle this, you can click on this. The contact information is going to be there for the actual agent itself, where you can reach directly out to them. So you can do all this stuff on your own for free. Obviously, with Agent Flywheel, we have these processes plugged in, but you can circling back, going back to like getting a list of data, you can do this as well. Obviously, if you're getting a straight list of agents, we don't 100% know what their production is, but it's still kind of the same process. We want to have, be able to have a conversation where we have something to offer, we have something to talk about, we have something to be able to communicate with them. I'll have a script down here that I can share with you. And if you want access to this document, you can comment below and I'll get it over to you there. But we like to plug people into automated follow-up process, power dialer, ringless voicemail, text message, email, and then obviously you can incorporate your DMs into that. This is an example of power dialer, and this is a really, really big one where you don't like not having to think about what am I doing today, where you just come in and you hit a big green button where it says let's start, and it just starts calling everybody and working through your referral partners in a systematic process where it's just boom, 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 boom. You can plug in, It's not rocket science. You just hit go and it starts calling. And again, we have some cool stuff where we're able to actually like pull in data for, listings and stuff like that. But this is a really great strategy to be able to consistently connect with and have conversations with real estate agents. And again, being able to provide value. It's being able to provide something of value so you can separate yourself from the rest of the people. Now, let me scroll down here. I'm going to just really quickly touch on this script. You have your value prop, and you can plug in if you don't want to use this approach, you can use, determine what your value proposition is for them. Why are they going to work with you versus somebody else? So, hey, contact, this is my name, from this location. And these are scripts that actually go out for other people that want to do it. A local lender. I was reaching out to potential partners. Are you strictly a listing agent, or do you have the capacity to take on any more buyers? Obviously, at the end of the day, real estate agents want one thing, and it's they want to grow their business just like you. Now, obviously, if you have the capacity to be able to send them leads, buyers, all that good stuff, you're able to set yourself way apart from anybody else out there. So not only, you can help promote their listings, but also be able to send those buyers back to the agent as well. So that's a huge value add for a lot of people. I like to provide as much value as possible to my partners. My primary focus right now is helping my partners promote their listings. Do you or anybody in your office have any listings, any active listings? Some other talking for this, and also like discovery questions. Are there any specific markets that they work in or focus on? Typical types of clients that they work with? Can you or do you take on any renters? So a lot of times when we're dealing, especially when we're dealing with first-time home buyers, not everybody is going to be able to or move forward with a purchase, but that doesn't mean they don't have some sort of built-in sense of urgency a lot of time where they're in a lease. That maybe they're beginning thinking about it, and in a lot of markets, a lot of real estate agents, they get paid on rentals, and sometimes depending upon your market, that's a pretty big penny, $2,000-$3,000 or more sometimes. And a lot of agents will get paid commission on the first month's rent. So, you get that to somebody, that's a big deal for a lot of folks, especially, in a slower market. If you are promoting listings, you can see, a lot of times you can see how many days it's been on Zillow. You can see the number of views. Some of our software will actually pull in that type of stuff where we'll actually, populate that. You have easy talking points. Obviously, the value prop, if you want to swap in your value proposition for something else, you can. And then call to action. Ultimately, we want to be moving these people from hi, hello, can you take on any more business? Can I help promote your list? So if any of that is interesting to you, you want help implementing any of this, don't hesitate to reach out, and I hope you the best of luck implementing and growing your business.